Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Richie Rich back on the ones and twos. Hey, listen. I was reading something, right, and I'm trying to figure out because I'm trying to understand what I read, and it's about what's going to happen in November to CDL drivers who don't have a valid license. So if your license is suspended or not suspended but prohibited, I guess that has to do with like clearinghouse. If you get like a drug violation or alcohol violation, you have to take these classes and get back into become active again, which is very expensive and it's a hassle. I thank God Richie Rich don't do no drugs. I may drink a very little. I mean, I haven't. I've been home for like 3 days and I haven't had anything. But um, pretty soon, almost 200,000 people will be barred from driving a truck in November. And I'm trying to understand. Somebody made a joke and said that's when the rates are going to start going back up. I hope so, but I don't. I mean, I don't have any experience with SAP or know too much about it. I just know that it's something you don't want to get, and especially when these DOT people start putting that on your clearinghouse, that's something you don't want to have in your clearinghouse. But to me, it seems like it leaves a lot open for misuse and fraud. And the reason I say that, right, is can you imagine pissing off your company and they fire you saying that you didn't do a drug test? See, my experience, right, and I'm starting to see this, when it comes to DAC and when it comes to clearinghouse, it seems like there's only one word, which is the employer's word, against the driver's word. And it's like the driver doesn't have a voice. I know some guys who had some stuff put on their DAC, right, that was not true. And Hire Right doesn't want to remove it. And the company they used to work for doesn't want to remove it. And it becomes a situation where you are fighting to prove you're innocent. You're guilty and to prove an innocent. It's very opposite of your due process. And I'm thinking, with how things are and how dirty and crooked trucking companies can be, that leaves a lot open to just write anything and actually allow the truck companies to do their own self-policing. And I do not like that, okay? If you work for a small carrier or a large carrier and you guys have a disagreement or something, something happens, a situation happens, and they fire you and they write on your DAC that they did this and that and the fourth, you have no rebuttal. You have to get an attorney and sue, which is not cheap. It's very expensive. And even with this clearinghouse mess, okay, all you have to do, a company will have to do, is say that you refused a drug test. There's a YouTuber on here. They have an old snapper. Okay, he made a video about, I guess a few months ago, about a driver from Crete that went to go work for a small carrier in Illinois, in the Chicago area. And when the guy got there, he got a bad vibe, and he told him, look, I don't want to work this job. And he went back to Crete. Well, the employer called Crete and said that the reason that he couldn't work for them is because he pissed a dirty drug test. And Crete gave that guy the 9 yards. Do you understand? They searched his truck. They fired him, basically. And I'm saying that, those situations can happen out here. I don't know why our government leaves it to employers to really make us some shit on your driver record what can affect your livelihood. That makes zero sense. There's always their side, your side, and the truth. Okay? And I do not like that, And this really leads into my narrative that there really isn't no advocacy for truck drivers out here. Because an employer can say what they want and do what they want, and you have no rebuttal, okay? Unless it's something gross, I'm talking extremely gross negligence, then maybe something will happen. And the only situations where I really saw that gross negligence happen is with the Sierra England guy who was legally deaf but still went and he couldn't get hired. That was a violation of his ADA rights, the American Disability Act rights. And that's when lawyers got involved and they sued them. Stuff like that is only when people, bring attention to stuff. They don't bring attention to stuff like this, where an employer can ruin a truck driver. Guys, if you work for the wrong trucking company, and I'm not saying wrong as in pay, I'm talking wrong on the other side of the fence, where you can make up any kind of allegations on you. They have access to your DAC and driver record, where they can put anything on your record. Okay, you will screw yourself. Trust me, I'm having to deal with that personally. But I'm gonna tell you something. To me, it seems like the government is doing everything in their power to limit trucking for truck drivers. Give it a couple more years, I think we will have a driver shortage for real, because all these companies are closing down. All these truck drivers who can't pass the DOT physical, they get let go. I was told by a DOT practitioner who gives medical clearances. They said that they're required now, if you fail your DOT and they give you a 90-day card, if you come back to that same clinic, they're required to report you to the state if you fail again. Now, there's ways around that, I guess. You can just keep going to different clinics because they're not uniformed yet, but give it some time. And when they start getting uniform and when they start getting that intelligence going on, you won't be able to run and hide from that. If you fail your DOT for medical reasons, everybody would know it. And if you got a 90-day and you can't get a year, everybody would know it. So, listen, it's changing. Do y'all see? So, I'm about to go back to work tomorrow. I have a tradition at my house. I'll show you guys. Oops, sorry there. Let me see. No, I can't flip it around. But always check my lotto tickets before I go back to work. I do it as a last relief, because somebody's winning these shits. And, Lord, if you watch my YouTube, please make it me one day. I'm sick of working. Save me, okay? I always check them before I go back to work. I play. I shouldn't, but I'll tell you, brother Richie Rich is, I want to be rich for real. So, anyway, y'all, peace and love, man. I'm about to disappear off this live. I read that, and it just, it kind of feeds into the narrative that the opinion that I have about trucking, and it's like, you don't have no advocacy groups for truck drivers. You don't have anybody fighting for you to keep your job. And that's sad, because truck driving is one of the fundamental jobs in America, okay? But it's one of those situations where you're used until you're not, needed anymore, then you're disregarded. And see, that's a problem, okay? Now I understand why unions are a big deal, why I understand, trucker striking is a big deal, because you really are disregarded. Like I said in my old video, you can work 30 years in this job and you can probably leave with nothing, So you got to be smart and you got to plan for the future, always. Anyway, y'all, I'm going back to work tomorrow. I got to pick up a load heading up to Ohio. There's some storms out there, so I hope I don't run into that. But until next time, I'll talk to you guys. Peace.
Someone is getting tired. It's so sad, man.
Are you fucking with me? You smoke weed? Nigga, please. Tell me, are you on? You smoke strong? Your money long.